Have you ever wondered what really separates a good vet clinic from a truly great one? It's not just about a friendly smile. There's actually an entire set of official standards all designed to keep our pets safe. So let's break down what those rules actually are. So, what does make a great vet clinic? We often think about the vet's personality, right? But the real foundation is built on something much more solid: official government regulations. These rules create a baseline for safety, for cleanliness, and for professionalism that every single animal patient deserves. All right, let's dive into the basics. And look, these aren't just helpful suggestions or best practices, they are the law. Every veterinary facility has to follow them. This is quite literally the foundation of our trust. So who's making these rules? Well, they come from the Philippine Department of Agriculture's Bureau of Animal Industry, or BAI for short. It's their job to regulate every single clinic and hospital out there, making sure they're all operating safely for our pets. Now, what's really interesting is how simple the number one rule is. Before we even get into all the fancy equipment or special licenses, the law states very clearly, a veterinary clinic or hospital shall be kept clean at all times. It's the absolute, non-negotiable starting point for proper animal care. Okay, to really understand the rules, we first need to know the two main types of facilities. You've got your non-surgical clinic, which is for your regular checkups and treatments. Then you have the surgical clinic, which does all of that, plus it performs surgery. And as you can probably guess, the more complex the work, the stricter the rules get. All right, let's take a little walk through a clinic, kind of from our pet's point of view. We'll start in the very first room you enter, the reception area. And believe it or not, even this space is regulated. The rules for the reception area are actually pretty specific. It has to be well lit, it has to be ventilated, and there needs to be enough seating for at least 3 clients and their pets. So right from the moment you walk in, the law says that environment has to be comfortable and efficient.
And here's a really key piece of transparency you should know about. The clinic is required to have its licenses and diplomas available for you to see. This includes the vets on license, their diploma, and even their special license for handling certain drugs. It's your guarantee that you're dealing with qualified professionals.
Okay, let's move past the waiting room and into the real heart of the clinic, the examination room. This is where the standards start to get even more serious. Again, the details are so critical here. Surfaces have to be smooth and easy to disinfect. That's huge for preventing the spread of germs. The exam table has to be non-porous, made of something like stainless steel. The law even says they have to have at least 3 muzzles and 3 leashes on hand, just to make sure everyone, both the staff and the pets, stays safe. But of all the requirements for an exam room, one of them stands out as maybe the most vital of all. Every single clinic, by law, has to have a dedicated emergency pack ready to go at all times. And just look what's inside. This is so much more than a basic first aid kit. It contains actual life-saving drugs like adrenaline for severe allergic reactions or vitamin K1, which is an antidote for certain types of poisoning. This pack is basically a legal promise that your vet is prepared for a worst-case scenario. So, what happens when a pet needs more than just a regular examination? Well, when surgery is on the table, the standards are elevated even further to make sure that environment is totally sterile and safe. A surgical clinic needs a completely separate room just for operations to maintain sterility. It has to have a proper operating table and a surgical lamp, and I love this detail. If it's not air-conditioned, the windows must be screened. Why? To prevent any insects from getting in and contaminating the space. Okay, so we've covered non-surgical clinics and surgical clinics, but there's one level that's even higher. What exactly does it take for a clinic to be officially called a veterinary hospital? Well, a huge part of the answer is people. Just look at the difference in the minimum staffing. A standard clinic needs 1 licensed vet and 1 aide, but a hospital, it needs double that, plus a dedicated receptionist, all to provide more comprehensive round-the-clock care. And the whole facility gets a major upgrade. A hospital needs a bigger waiting room, more cages, and, this is a big one, an in-house laboratory for getting immediate test results. But maybe the biggest difference of all, they have to have staff available for after-hours emergencies, offering a true 24/7 safety net for your pet. So after going through all of these detailed regulations, from the number of chairs in the waiting room to the contents of an emergency pack, we have to ask, why does all of this matter so much? The answer is right there in the official document itself.
One of the guiding principles says that these requirements exist to make sure that any confined animal will be adequately comfortable. It's not just about clinical procedure, it's about compassion, written directly into law.
So this whole code of standards is so much more than just red tape. It's a promise. It's a promise from your vet that your animal companion is going to receive care that is safe, that's professional, and that's genuinely compassionate. Knowing all this completely changes how you see your vet's office, right? It's not just a room with a table anymore. It's a carefully regulated environment built on a foundation of rules designed for one single purpose: to provide the best possible care for your best friend. So the next time you walk in, what are you going to notice?